Like, we have so many other interruptions. We have a Guardian Chimera here. So much advantage. This deck is just, like, incredible. How's it going, YouTube? Welcome back to another Master Duel video. And today, we got a new pack dropping, which is the new selection pack, Revived Legion, that introduces a lot of really important cards, like Raging Phoenix, like SP Little Knight, which is going to be influential. If you are not playing the TCG, then you're going to see exactly why. But also, a very important engine releasing in this set specifically, which is Horus and the King's Sarcophagus. And I've been hearing a lot of comments saying, hey, Galzo, let us know what you think about Chimera in Master Duel, because that was the previous set that released, and today is going to be the day. We're going to look at the deck profile, and we're going to explain the combos and how to play the deck successfully. So leave a like, subscribe, and let's get into it. So this is the deck, branded Chimera and Horus as well. Horus releasing today. We also got a bunch of new features now with the cool zoom feature, which is pretty nice. So we're going to be discussing the deck, the strategy, how to play it, the combos, and explaining a little bit why it's different, a little bit different in Master Duel than in the TCG. So let's go over to the deck list really quickly. We do have a lot of non-engine room, but we also have a lot of engine because this deck requires engine. This deck really thrives when it has a lot of plays to make through the engine. And, you know, interruptions like Ash, Max C, and Super Poly are very good going second, but also using Guardian Chimera, you can see we're also playing two. You don't have to play two, but at least one, because this deck was honestly designed for Guardian Chimera. Also the name Chimera Fusion, Chimera being a beast, this just fits really well together, and that is part of the strategy. So going second, having 3 Edge Imp Chain, 3 Patchwork, 2 Poly to enable that untargetable Guardian Chimera is really important to the deck. 3 Max C, 3 Ash Blossom, 3 Edge Imp Chain. If you don't know what it does, it searches Fright for Patchwork, which searches Edge Imp Chain and Polymerization. So you're going to see throughout the combos and when you play the deck that you always have so many cards in hand, because this deck has a lot of card advantage. And this is also taking advantage of the fact that Duel isn't really played in Master Duel. So that's why it's so good. 1 Fallen Valbaz and 1 Branded Fusion. So in the TCG, you would usually see 3 Branded Fusion and Fallen Valbaz, because Branded Fusion is a 1-card starter. How do you make it into a 1-card starter? Branded Fusion sends from the deck, and this is introducing our first Chimera monster, which is Gazelle, the King of Mythical Claws. If it's normal or special, you can search a level 5 Fiend monster or a Chimera Fusion from the deck. But if it's sent to the graveyard as fusion material, you can add an illusion monster from the deck. So you would send Albaz and Gazelle to summon Rindbrum from the deck, right? Which already puts you on a negate and possibly another Mirror Jade from the graveyard once Rindbrum is sent to the graveyard. Now, this one searches an illusion, which can be either one of the illusions here. It's a new type in Yu-Gi-Oh! You probably already know about it. Cornfield Codal discards itself and searches a monster that mentions Chimera Fusion. You would usually go for the Mirror Swords Knight, which contribute itself as a quick effect, like Sky Striker Ace Ray, which we love. And it summons a monster that mentions Chimera Fusion from the deck, which is going to be this one, the monster after that. It's going to be Big Wing Berfomet. When it's normal special, you can add 1 level 4 Beast monster, which is going to be Gazelle, and Chimera Fusion. 2 cards. So this card adds 2 cards, this card adds 2 cards. Really, really strong. Tons of card advantage. If you guys don't know, and this is a little bit of a deep dive for those who haven't played this deck in the TCG, while you have, this is the fusion of the deck, right? You have a few of them. We're going to talk about them. But the Chimera King of Phantom Beasts is always called Chimera the Flying Mythical Beast. This is the retrain of the famous Yu-Gi monster. And while you have this on the field, this becomes a target negate from the graveyard. You can banish it. When your opponent activates a card that targets a monster, you can banish it and negate it. And this will negate a monster effect on the field. Simple as that. So they also turn into interruptions in the graveyard, and both of them cannot be destroyed or destroy by battle. This is what the illusions do. We're going to move on with the deck list. Imsadi, also introducing the Horus engine. This is also new to Master Duel. Imsadi sends itself another card to add the King's Sarcophagus. The King's Sarcophagus, when it's on the field, you can summon all the Horus monsters from the graveyard once per turn each. Built-in summon doesn't start a chain, right? Duel is the beast out of the 4 Horus monsters. So we play this because it's a beast, and Chimera Fusion can fusion summon during the main phase as a quick effect using fiends or beasts, right? This is why we play that. We get another beast because we only have 4. Oh, I took it out. So that's Duamutef, which is going back into the deck. They also have effects on the field if cards leave your field by card effect, and this is what they do. You group them up, and then when something leaves the field, you can activate their effect. So Mseti, if another card leaves the field by an opponent's card effect, you can send one card on the field to the graveyard, non-targeting. Very strong effect. Duamutef draws cards equal to the number of monsters with different names in your main monster zone. So let's say you have 3-4 monsters in the main monster zone. Your opponent, fissures a card and sends it to the graveyard. You draw 3 cards, right? Very strong. King Sarcophagus enables them to be summoned from the graveyard, but also can send a card from the hand as cost and send one of them to the graveyard. So you send a card as cost. A lot of the times it's going to be Edge of Chain. That's going to give you Horus in the grave. Edge of Chain is going to search this. This is going to search Edge of Chain and Poly. You understand how this generates a ton of advantage, right? Lastly, Chimera Fusion is the last card you don't know. Again, as we mentioned during the main phase, quick effect, fusion summon using beasts or fiends, right? It can be any other cards, but it has to include a beast or a fiend, right? This is not once per turn. You can use this effect as many times as you want per turn, right? It also has a graveyard effect. While you have Chimera, right? Either this or this or this, which we'll talk about, which all are named Chimera, the Flying Mythical Beast. You can add it from the graveyard to your hand once per turn. So you're going to be resolving this multiple times per turn. And this is Chimera Fusion. Now for the extra deck, Garuro Mud Dragon for Super Poly. Chimera needs a beast and a fiend. Okay, so you would usually do this with these, or like this, or like this. Most of the time it's going to be Gazelle and one of the fiends. Very easy to do. If it's summoned, during the end phase, your opponent sends one card. You send one random card from your opponent's hand to the graveyard. They start with 1 card less. And during your opponent's turn, you can banish it from the graveyard, target a beast, fiend, or illusion monster in the graveyard, special summon it. And this works really well with Baphomet. This is also named Chimera, the Flying Mythical Beast, in the grave or on the field, which of course enables you to put back the Chimera Fusion. And this one, on summon, just sends a beast, fiend, or illusion from the deck to the graveyard, right? That could be a ton of cards, honestly. Now, during your opponent's turn, you can banish it and target one of your banished beast, fiends, or illusions, summon them. So you banish this, summon follow-up, and then you banish this, summon this. It's pretty good, to be honest. Dragostapelia, Albion, Mirror Jade, Brynbrum. This is your package. And this is the big boy. It's the level 8 to 3,100 attack. It requires Chimera, the Flying Mythical Beast, so either one of these, and 1 or more illusions. It gains attacks, right? It can attack monsters a number of times equal to the materials that it had. So, for example, Chimera plus this, 2 more illusions, creates this. It can attack 3 times. What's so cool about this card, this is an illusion. It cannot destroy by battle, and it cannot be destroyed by battle. At the end of the damage step, if this card battles an opponent's monster, you can change that opponent's monster's attack to 0 and negate it. And that happens during the damage step. So how do you play this card? You attack into a monster in attack position. This card doesn't get destroyed because it's an illusion. You 0 out the monster and negate it. Then you attack 2 or 3 more times for game. This is how you end games really quickly with this. Magnum the Reliever hasn't seen a lot of play in other decks, but this is a huge card for this deck. Very, very, very mandatory. Requires a monster special summon from the extra deck plus 1 monster in the hand. Right? So it could be any one of your fusions, another monster in the hand. This one targets a poly or a fusion card in your graveyard, places it on the bottom, and draws 1 card. And when another card, even if it's your card, is activated, you can chain this, banish a poly or a fusion spell from the graveyard, target 1 card in the field, destroy it. So once per turn draw, once per turn pop, recycles your fusions. Extremely, extremely good. Now, one more thing that people play in Chimera right now, Barrier Statue, and we might end up playing that as well. I don't have the dark one. maybe we should play the dark one, right? This is a fiend. Let's try that. You know what? Let's try that. Neither player can special summon except dark monsters. Might be good into the meta. Let's jump into some games and see how this deck performs. This is a pretty good hand. I also forgot to mention that we played this. This is a monster negate for the Horus engine. Rank 8, SPL Knight, just an insane card. You're not always locked into fusions in this deck. Let's look at the one card combo here. Using Branded Fusion, we drew the one of Branded Fusion. We can go for a Rindbrum using the Albaz and the Gazelle here. Now this initiates the one card combo. I don't think our opponent has Ash, which is good because we need to add now. Gazelle is going to add us the Cornfield Coatl. We don't want to go directly into the Mirror Swords Knight because we want to set this up in the graveyard as a negate for the Chimera. And then we search for the Mirror Swords Knight, right? This will be normaled, and you do have priority here to activate the quick effect, the special summon the Baphomet from the deck. You summon it, this one in turn will search for the Chimera Fusion. And now, because we have a little bit extra, yeah, we also add this. Now we have a little bit extra, so we definitely want to get a poly, right? So we're not going to use the Baphomet just yet. It also has a really good graveyard effect that you'll see in a second. We'll go into the Chimera using Edge of Chain. That way we can fuse again and save our Chimera Fusion for our opponent's turn, right? So, Chimera Fusion, we summon this. This will send a card from our opponent's hand during the end phase. This will search the Patchwork, right? And now we get to resolve. Yep. Now, what we're going to do, we have a Beast and a Fiend on the field. We're going to go ahead and use Fright for Patchwork. And this will add us a Poly and an Edge of Chain. Now, don't forget, you can return the Chimera Fusion. Look at how many cards we have in hand. This is usually the state of this deck. And now we're just going to use Poly to fuse these two into the Baphomet. Okay? Now we're going to go into a Baphomet. Use this because it has a graveyard effect. Use this because we can use it in the graveyard as well. This should not be in defense because it has like 600, but, you know, you get the gist. Chain 1, send from the deck. We're going to send the barrier statue here. Chain 2, when it's use this fusion, you can target an illusion monster in the graveyard and special summon. We get illusion Mirror Swords Knight, which will in turn, I think we might get nibbed, which is honestly okay here. It's definitely fine. We don't have a problem with that because the Mirror Swords Knight will still summon. It's definitely not a problem. We can still initiate whatever lock we want. We can still set up Guardian Chimera as well. Getting nibbed here is actually absolutely fine. We already set up all the graveyard and field setup that we need. Summon back the Mirror Swords Knight. And we send this with the Baphomet. Now, easy enough. We set 2. And we toggle on. Okay? We go to the end phase here. And during the draw phase, first of all, we need to apply the effect here. Send a Pot of Desires from the hand, which is really good. And then during the draw phase, we get to have the priority here to activate this to get 2 more cards from the deck. I think it's only going to be 1 because we went through all of our Gazelles, but it still searches, it still will search a Chimera Fusion here. Now, if we want, we can, I think we can go for the barrier statue now to force a battle phase maybe. And we also have 2 other, like we have so many other interruptions. We have a Guardian Chimera here. We have Rindbrum in the grave to use Albaz and to fuse. So much advantage. This deck is just like incredible. Honestly, the card advantages of this deck is just astounding sometimes. So now it's basically forcing them to maybe normal summon or go into the battle phase, or if it's a dark deck, that's also understandable. But I don't think the meta is a lot of like dark decks right now in Master Duel. Comment down below and correct me. He wants to end, right? So we can actually let them do that. Oh, we messed it up, but it's fine. We should have used, we can use Super Poly here, but it's not going to be able, like Mud Dragon. Oh, it is Garura though. Yeah, Garura is dark. Yeah, we can just do that. We can send this. This also searches us a card. We summon Garura using this and this. They basically skip their battle phase right now. Garura is dark. We get to add another card. Card that adds 2 more cards. The thing about this deck, sometimes it will run through resources really, really quickly. So you want to end the game really fast. Obviously, I'm not super high ranked, very low ranked actually, but this is basically how you play Chimera. We didn't get to see the Horus cards in action, but this is just another supplementary engine, and mainly it synergizes really well with this. This is something you always want to see in your hand. You always want to be able to send to the graveyard and get the effect of. And yeah, really, really fun deck. Let me know. It's kind of expensive, to be honest. They kind of pushed it. Making Berthamet an Ultra kind of sucks. But let me know if you guys do try it at home. Leave a comment down below if you're enjoying Chimera. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Peace out.